out of 6 cans, did we?
No, they don't.
I thought we went 6 out of 6. They get 2 extra ones.
Because the stage is 4, I think we settled in between. I thought.
All right, welcome to the Sheboygan Area Schools Board of Education regular monthly meeting. Monday, August 25th, 2025. It is 6:30. Chris?
Julie Lohila,
Here?
Tim Tarja,
Here.
Deborah Buhner, here. Luke Kukowski,
Here.
Travis Neville,
Here.
Richard Pilon,
Here.
Matt Malarchuk,
Here.
and Heather Lake.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Does anybody have any questions about the minutes of July 28th, 2025, regular meeting, July 28th closed meeting, and the August 19th special board meeting? Not seeing any, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the July 28th, 2025 regular meeting, July 28th closed meeting, and August 19th special board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion made by Rich, supported by Travis. Any other questions, concerns, discussion? Chris?
Luke Kukowski,
Yep.
Richard Pilon,
Yes.
Tim Tarja,
Yes.
Deborah Buhner,
Yes.
Matt Malarchuk,
Yes.
Travis Neville,
Yes.
Julie Lohila.
Yes. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the board president report. And I just have an announcement I would like to make. Often, you may see board members using their computers or their phones in order to look at the agenda. They have chosen not to use those trees up so much and not print the agenda. Unless you are old like me or me. I still need a printed copy, so I do have a printed copy, but they may need to refer that at some time. And the next thing on our, any questions about that? Next thing on the agenda is the superintendent report.
Great, thank you, Julie. If you guys take a look at the screen, I have a short PowerPoint presentation for you. What's so funny, Ben? He saw it over there. He doesn't think it's short. But I also wanted to, this summer, I am representing the Kiefer boys, Liam and Seth, I believe, right?
Yes.
This, I ran across them, they had set up a shop at the softball tournament this summer, and they made these out of their 3D printer, is that correct? And then also, they have a device that allows you, they were selling some wallets, and then with the ability to engrave on the back of it, which I couldn't help myself, I had to.
Those are nice wallets.
Yeah, and this here goes really well with my shirt. So, it's pretty cool stuff. That's very cool. So I always like to show off some student work. Welcome back. Today was new teacher orientation, and we had a great day today. Deanna led the day. Everybody was there for the cookout, administrators. We had a couple board members, thank you Julie and Tim, who came to the cookout this afternoon. Had some great conversation with some new teachers. New teachers had an opportunity to meet with their mentor teachers, so looks like we got another really good group of new teachers joining our teacher teams in all of our different buildings. Tomorrow, we are going to have our district welcome back morning. We're going to have breakfast in the morning at 7:30. And then we're going to have some professional development throughout the morning. And then we are going to have, Marty, where's Marty at? The t-shirts, are they going to be in tomorrow? There was some question whether or not our t-shirts would be in. Apparently they're under the wire, but we're going to get them here tomorrow morning. We're going to hand them out to our teachers after our PD session in the morning, and we hope to get a group photo of all of our district and staff that are willing to take a picture and put the shirt on. That's the key. In the new gym. So we're actually having a photographer come in. I think we're looking at a couple pictures, possibly one in the bleachers, one around the new headdress C on the main floor. That would be a great picture too. And then get those up on the website too. I really enjoy looking at some of the other school districts as they start their first days and the teachers come back and the students come back and share all this kind of excitement and stuff with each other on Facebook, on social media. So hopefully tomorrow we'll have some smiles and some pictures to share. Wednesday is going to be, we were going to do sports dress-up day on Tuesday, but we thought, well, since we're giving out t-shirts and we want them to wear those t-shirts, we're going to change sports dress-up day to Wednesday. And that's a big deal because Deanna has held on to the Spirit Stick most of, if not all of last year, right? Spirit Stick winner. So we're going to bring the Spirit Stick. The first competition for this particular school year is going to be wear your favorite sports jersey or your sports t-shirt on Wednesday. And the building with the highest percentage of participation wins the first Spirit Stick competition. And there's a big challenge going on. Deanna hoarded it all of last year, and I know there are some building principals that are looking to challenge Deanna to hold that sports or that Spirit Stick for a couple of weeks anyways. This right here, I'm gonna, Julie, you got one of these already, right? We talked about this earlier today, but I think I have an extra copy for everybody else if you want to take this. If you recall our last board meeting, Julie talked about the strategic plan. This strategic plan, which is all up, you see it hopefully everywhere in your buildings, in the district office, it's posted everywhere. That was devised my first year, which was 2 years ago. It took us 6 months to create the strategic plan. And the strategic plan's not changing, but what is changing is some of the things that the action steps is what I refer to them as, the things we're actually going to do in each of these 5 pillars to try to take one step closer to what the mission and vision is of those particular goals. So on one side of the paper I just gave you, you see that, but on the other side, flip it over. On the other side, it breaks it down a little bit differently, and I'm going to present this next month with an updated version. You guys that were here, was this December of last year, approved this. Actually, it was the year going into 24-25 back in December. And the goals are going to remain the same, but if you see the bulleted items on the bottom, some of them we've already achieved. Some of them we are still working on from a year and a half ago, but some of them we have new ones. We have new administrators, we have new ideas, we have new goals. So what I'd like to do is update this version and put in some SMART goals that support each of those 5 pillars, and then bring it forward to the board for approval. And as we talked about when we created this 2 years ago, this again will be our North Star. This is kind of the umbrella in which everything kind of resides. And we want to make sure every year that we review it, update it, and make sure that it's accurate and it's still pointing us in the right direction. So I'm challenging the administrators to, I have a few of them, I'm going to share them with you here today. Some ideas of some things that we still need to do and some new ideas that we need to add. And if you guys have any ideas, which I'm sure you would not be afraid to share them with me if you did, we would love to have your input as well. Pillar number 1, I want to start with this pillar. It's not necessarily in any type of chronological order, but I want to start with culture and climate first. Because, to be quite honest with you, I think culture and climate is the most important thing that we can create here in our school district. Last year we had PJ Capozzi, for those of you who remember. Michelle, do you remember PJ? He was great, and he talked a lot about culture and climate in the theater when we brought our entire staff into the theater downtown. But one of the things that I want to make sure everybody understands before we move forward and talk about how to support culture and climate, what's the difference? What is culture and climate? When I talk about culture, I'm talking about the shared beliefs and values of the entire school district. These are things that, the way PJ Capozzi talked about it, he said it's our personality, right? It's something that is kind of, it can be changed, but it's very difficult to change. You know, people when you get older, right, 35, 40, or getting close to 50 like I am, your personality sometimes is a little bit more rigid and doesn't change quite as easily. So think about that. Every school in our school district has a personality. And it's a compilation of all the teachers, all the administrators, and it's the things that we do every day. Up there it says the traditions, the norms, and the expectations that shape how people in your school or community interact and work together. So culture is the big picture, right? It's kind of firm, it's ingrained, it's kind of hard to do a quick change with culture. To change culture usually takes years. Now climate is different, and I like what P.J. Capozzi said last year when we talked about describing climate. Climate is how you feel. Climate is like the weather, right? Climate is it raining outside? Is it sunny outside? And how does that make me feel? So when we're talking about culture and climate within our school districts and within our schools, we're talking about kind of what's the personality or the ingrained shared beliefs, and then also when you walk in there, what is the feel that you get when you walk in the building, right? Every building I've ever walked into, you immediately feel like, man, I feel safe and warm and welcome. Or some buildings, unfortunately, you may walk into and you walk up to the counter and everybody ignores you, and you're like, geez, does anybody see me here, right? So how do you feel when you're in a building, when you interact with other people? That's really important for us. So what are some things that we have done in the past to improve the culture and climate in the past 2 years when we started this strategic plan? One big one for me is with the fact that last year we had 0 expulsions. We brought 0 expulsions. Ben and Marty brought 0 expulsions to the board last year, and I believe that's a testament to a change in culture and climate, and a belief that they believe in regards to using interventions and restorative justice practices. So they felt very strongly that they wanted to do whatever they could to keep kids in their building. And the year before, if you recall, we had 6 expulsion hearings. So that's a significant change. That's a quick cultural change, but that's led because we have new administrators at the high school and they feel a little bit differently about how to deal with students that are in a bad way. Also, we established a safety committee this past January. I want to thank Julie for supporting me in creating that committee. We've had a lot of great conversation, a lot of discussion. I think we've really moved the needle in every building by getting together, sitting at the table, having Ron Fenlon, the building principals, having people from the county, having people from the city sit down and just talk about how can we make our schools as safe as we possibly can for our students. That makes me feel better, right? I think we all agree it's really difficult to say that any of our schools are 100% safe. But by meeting, talking, addressing the issues, we're taking steps closer every month, every day. I think also something that's going to create culture is our pre-K program. Deanna's going to have an opportunity to get with kids a year earlier and teach them how to, I think Michelle said it best the other day, how to do school, right? So that's culture, getting kids in there. I was in there the other day and they were showing them how to line up to go to lunch. That's extremely important for a pre-K student, right? Or kindergarten. Don't take that lightly. And then I think also one of the biggest things that's going to impact the culture in the near future is the fact that we've moved 2nd grade over to the intermediate building and 7th grade over to the high school. And that's a huge undertaking. Don't take that lightly. And I think that will have a significant change in culture, especially to our 8th graders. Our 8th graders are no longer alone. They're going to be coupled with the 7th graders, and I know Marty and Ben have spent a lot of time on trying to keep those students in one section of the high school and trying to create a junior high feel for them. They're going to have classes together, they're going to play sports together, and now that 8th grade is not stuck between, well, am I in high school or am I in middle school? So a lot of stuff we've already done. I don't want to congratulate those folks who are involved in these processes, but also what else can we do in the future to try to improve culture and climate? What are some new things that we can add? SMART goals, action steps. Before I get to that, I just wanted to give you a quick update. Correct me if I'm wrong, Deanna, but pre-K, we have currently 26 students talking about pre-K. So that's going to be 2 sections this year. We do have 32 as the cap, right, Deanna? I wouldn't be surprised if we have a rush here before the start of school and get closer to that 32 number, but right now we have 26. Between now and next year, we're going to gauge student demand, and if we can get enough students to create one section up to 2 sections, that would be our goal, which would be another 32 students, or 64 students total. But right now, we have 2 good, strong sections ready to begin this year, and again, that's going to impact our culture down the road. These students are going to have an extra year of how to do school. The K numbers, since we're talking about East Elementary, K numbers were a little down last I talked with Deanna. They were about 82. Is that still the case?
We've been getting registrations daily,
Yeah.
trickling in still. So I know that the number is higher than that, and we'll continue to.
Yeah, and kindergarten notoriously is latecomers to the party. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get to closer to our goal of 100 by the time, and really ideally the optimum number is 125. The reason that I say that is if we have 125 students that come in as kindergarten, if you divide that by 5, that's 25 students per section, and that's kind of how we are set up K through 8. Right now I believe 2 through 6 is 5 sections every grade level. So if we started off with a kindergarten of 125, that would be 5 sections, and that would kind of fit in nice and in line with grades 2 through 6. Some other things that, these are some of mine, these are ones that I brought to the table this afternoon at the cabinet meeting. These are kind of like my pet peeves. I think we've moved the needle a little bit. I still think it's something we can work on, and I don't think it's anything we're ever going to be perfect at. It's never going to be 2 + 2 = 4. But cell phones are getting a lot of attention throughout the state and throughout the country. And talking with Marty and Ben, we have some ideas of how we can get our arms around that a little bit more and how it can be less of a distraction in the classroom. So I sent you guys all an email, all the administrators, all the board members a couple days ago. We have some ideas. We're going to try some new things. But right now I know in 18 states that the state is starting to step in. And the state is starting to tell schools no cell phones in your buildings at all. If you bring a cell phone in, what a lot of these states are doing is they're collecting them at the door. And then they got these nice new intricate little safe pods or something that they can put them in, and then the students get them on the way out. We're not doing that yet. I hope we don't feel we have to do that yet. But we do want the understanding that every student has a Chromebook. So there should be no need for a student to pull out their cell phone for educational purposes. So I believe the goal K-12 or now pre-K-12, and I'm not sure how many pre-K kids have cell phones, but you never know anymore, is to zero cell phones out during instructional time. They can, depending on the building, there's going to be some safe zones where students can check their phone before school, after school, passing period, and lunchtime. Is that correct, Marty? But other than that, in the classroom, don't want to see them, don't want to hear them. If we do, then there's a process of trying to educate them on how to handle those cell phones better. Bullying has improved, but that's something that we're always working on. And vaping is still crazy. So vaping is one thing we talked about. I don't know if it's getting better. Marty and Ben, what do you think at the high school level?
I think it's getting better just because we're reducing opportunities.
Okay. Vaping is scary to me. That's probably one of the things that's really difficult to control. Kids are really caught up in it, and but we have it on our radar, and we're working towards some ideas on how to ideally eliminate vaping is the goal, but at least decrease the use of vaping in our schools. In particular, the high school is where it seems to be most rampant. Approving attendance is something that we're focusing on. Ben Schley and the building principals are working on a new check sheet, kind of going through and making sure we don't miss any students. And we have a process at 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, and 20 days now. Is that right, Ben Schley?
Yep, just gives us a protocol to follow, so we're all pretty.
And that's something that all buildings are going to use.
Yep.
And that'll keep us kind of consistent. So if you have a kid in the elementary school, they're being treated the same way as a student at the high school. And I think all of these things are just a few examples of some things that we're working on and will continue to work on, and will be goals under culture and climate, or at least how to improve culture and climate in the future. That's the email I sent out. I hope all you guys got it. If you didn't click on that link, I was reading over the weekend about, and at that time it was 17 states, but now it's 18, that are stepping in. And we want to keep local control, right? We don't necessarily want, I don't think we have to, or I hope not. I don't think the state has to come in and tell us how to manage cell phones. But in 18 states they are, so who knows? And I was talking with some of our guys that are in the know, and they say that Michigan is talking about it, but 18 states throughout our country are already making movement on it. This is one of my favorite quotes by P.J. Fleck. And when we're talking about culture and climate, the reason that I show this quote is because I can have these ideas, the building principals can have these ideas, but until our teachers and more importantly our students understand and respect and uphold these ideas, we're really not going to be as good as we can be. Charlotte Danielson, somebody pointed that out today. Was that you, Marty? Charlotte Danielson, when we evaluate teachers, you know the only way that a teacher can get an excellent in their rating?
Student-led.
When it's student-led. When students are teaching students. So when we're talking about culture and climate, we're talking about, I remember back in the day when I was in high school, and everybody felt, hey, none of us like bullying. The administration doesn't like it, the teachers don't like it, and guess what? 99% of the kids don't like it. When it ever raised its ugly head, we had kids, not only teachers, administrators, but kids also saying, hey, we don't do that here. When we can get to that place, that'll be a good place to be. Today, Tim's going to give a safety committee report, but I just wanted to mention we are going to push forward. I know Sheriff Ross brought to the committee the MOU for the CCE dispatch. And I know we talked about it last month, and since last month I've talked to our attorneys. They agree that this MOU does not violate FERPA, and that the CCE having access to our camera system in emergency situations is a good idea. So that was brought to the committee. Today the board will get an opportunity to vote on it, and I'm assuming that we'll pass that tonight. And again, that's just another step towards trying to create a safer environment for our children. Any questions on the MOU? Tim, is there anything you want to add about the MOU for?
In terms of CCL.
Okay, so I think we're good. And if you don't know, I don't know a lot about CCE, so I looked it up. Sheboygan, Charlottesville, and Emmett County Central Dispatch. So they're that when a 911 is dialed, emergency communication center that serves those 3 counties is who has access to our cameras. And right now, Ron, how many cameras do we have?
I've got 142 views just at the high school.
Just at the high school.
Yeah.
So 142 views just at the high school. So if there's an emergency situation and they need access to our cameras, God forbid an active shooter situation, they can pull up and they can direct those first responders. They can direct them because they have access. They can tune right into our cameras, which obviously would be extremely helpful in an emergency situation such as that. So that's pillar 1. Pillar 2 is communication. I just have one quick slide on that. We've done a lot of stuff. I want to make sure we haven't forgot about the things that we have done. We changed websites a year and a half ago, Aptigee. I think that's been huge for us. We've tried some new things this summer. You may have heard our radio interviews. That's again to promote, hey, Sheboygan's a good place to be. If you want to bring your child here, we have a lot of great educational opportunities. Everybody did a really good job except for Ben Schley. Ben, you need a little bit of work, but I really liked everybody else's. No, you did a nice job too, Ben. I'm just kidding you. He's so sensitive. We also created a commercial, which I don't know if everybody's heard our commercial yet, but Mike Grisdale has, and that's going to run for a few weeks up to the start of school, and hopefully again the idea is that we can increase enrollment. I think when I first got here 2 years ago, we hired Jordan Anderson, and he's done a wonderful job to be our full-time tech coordinator. He helps us with our communications, making sure that they get out. If they're messed up, he can fix them, all kinds of good stuff. I've been doing my Sunday newsletter for a year and a half now. Haven't missed a Sunday in a year and a half. I know you guys are waiting for the first one that I do miss. And then we're now, it's also starting to become contagious. I think if you went to the fall athletic parent-player meeting, Jason Friday was impressive. Invited any parents or players that wanted to come into our high school auditorium to talk about our new athletic code of conduct, which today the board is going to have an opportunity to approve. But I think Jason did an excellent job. We had, how many people showed up? 84 showed up to the fall athletic committee. And it didn't have to be just fall athletes and fall parents. We just opened it up to anybody who, maybe your kid plays a winter or a spring. And I think we're going to do it again in the winter one more time if people missed it in the fall. But we're seeing other groups and departments starting to push out more communication, especially two-way communication such as that. That's really important, to be able to talk to people face to face. And then also Julie has given me a new task. I don't know if anybody knows anybody who has billboards, but Julie said, Spencer, get out there, and I love the commercial, but I would even love more a billboard. So we're going to work on that next. Pillar 3, personnel and leadership. This kind of shocked me when I thought about it the other day. When we're looking at our personnel and leadership pillar of our 5 pillars, we've hired 6 administrators of our 9 in the past 2 years. So the only ones, the old timers, and there you can tell Ben Wilson's a new guy, a rookie over there making noise. But Marty Mix, we've hired Ben Wilson, Ben Schley, Ashley Naffel, this is her first year. Chris Jewell was hired when I was here. I was fortunate enough to sit on that interview committee. And then tonight we're going to be recommending Jessica Yearling. Is that right? Yearling, guys? Is that how you pronounce her last name? And we are really excited about her joining our team. She couldn't make it here tonight, but she's coming from Olivet School District. And I have her, I just have one copy, but if you want to take a look at her resume, the things that she has done, in regards to curriculum director, please go ahead and take a quick flip through that because it's impressive. And I want to thank Deborah. She was a part of the interview committee and did a wonderful job. But it was hands down, especially this late in the year, to get somebody. She works for Olivet School District. She gave them 2 weeks notice, and she's starting on September 8th here. So we're real excited about. With Jamie McClintock, I also like to say she did a wonderful job for 2 years. And she's off to bigger, better things, working at the COP ESD. I'm really happy for her. I think that's going to open up a lot more opportunities for her. I was really concerned about filling her shoes because she's done such a great job. But I think we were really lucky to land this young lady, and she'll be joining our team soon. The other thing I'd like to mention, besides, you know, when you have a 6 out of 9 administrator changeover in 2 years, that's going to impact your culture and climate. They're coming in with their own ideas, their own way of thinking about things. But I also like to say this morning, the new teacher orientation, great teachers again. We are, for a state and a country that is in a teacher shortage, we seem to be knocking it out of the park with finding some teachers too, because we got 2 good ones here today. Where'd they go? Did they leave already? Oh, there they are. maybe we did it. But we got 2 wonderful teachers here today that Ben Schley is going to be talking about in just a second. But just so that you guys are aware, I know sometimes it's hard to keep the board, all 7 of you, up to date. But 4th and 6th grade in our intermediate building, the enrollment numbers have went up significantly in the past 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
What were you saying, 49?
I think we're at 49 new enrollees this summer, and a lot of them in the last 3 weeks.
So contractually, what that does is that puts us at a position where contractually, Michelle would remind me, is that we would have to give these teachers an aide, or we could hire another teacher and reduce class numbers, and then not have to worry about adding an aide. Once we exceed that magic number in the contract, we would have to hire an aide. I'm of the mindset that instead of hiring an aide, why don't we go ahead and hire a teacher, because that's what's best for kids, right? Reduce the section numbers, get smaller classrooms, and we were very lucky to find 2 great teachers at the last minute, the midnight hour, to fill those roles. But the good thing is, it's been driven by enrollment. We didn't expect 49 students in the past 2 weeks in the intermediate building, and we were very fortunate to find 2 excellent teachers to fill those roles. I will tell you this though, how much, I know the answer to this, but I like asking Ben anyways. How much classroom space do you have left in the intermediate building? 0.
We're actually
making some space in the library for one of our employees to do some of her work, because we're pretty
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah, so we have 5 sections, grades 2 through 6, and there is no space left in the intermediate building. So that's a good problem to have. And when you think about it, every student, we know FTE, I got my CSBO, in the back of my mind, is $10,000 for every student. So enrollment has been an issue, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. But I'm suspecting that since Procter & Gamble shut down and the hospital shut down, every year since our enrollment has went down, never went up. I'm assuming and hoping this year it's going to go up, because that is how we get our general fund revenue, is through enrollment. So every year, it's not a lot, it's 20, it's 30, it's 40, but we need to turn that ship around, and it sounds like we're about to do that this year. So that'll bring addition. We always talk about, it seems like when we're talking about budget in our finance committee meeting, we're always talking about reducing expenses. We got to cut. Well, here on the other side of the fence is, we also could increase enrollment, right? We have CT programs that we can advertise. We have 9 CT programs. We have a new EMC program. We have a new pre-K program. If you're moving to northern Michigan, Sheboygan is a pretty good place to be. Pillar 4, academics. I know we've spent a lot of time on this, so I'm going to buzz through this real quick. Jamie McClintock and the building principals and Molly and Kopeka have done a wonderful job with our math curriculum. And I know Jamie, before she left, she shared with the board, I believe last month, that our math scores are the best that she's ever seen. Matter of fact, I think I quoted her here. She had been here for 17 years before she left, and never has she seen math growth like this. Oh, like this. That far right column there is unbelievable. And we want to correlate and associate those test scores with our curriculum work the last 2 years. We're thinking that it's starting to pay dividends already. And like I said, Jamie's been in this district for 17 years prior, and she was really impressed. And we've shared this with the curriculum committee a couple times, with the board, and hopefully those numbers will continue. And I will tell you, the four summer days that the teachers have worked on their curriculum have been wonderful. I always think summer is for curriculum work. And we've paid our teachers to come in for 4 days, and I would say probably over 90% of our teachers have taken advantage of that. And now, coming into day 1, they have their lesson plans, they have their curriculum maps for math, and now English language arts we're starting this year. And we've employed Molly and Kopeka for 3 days each month. So they're going to come in and they're going to work with each building and make sure that we continue to push that envelope. Now shifting from math to English language arts, and hopefully within a year or 2 we'll see some improved English language arts scores. If you go back to the English language arts data, you can see that we had some modest great gains in English language arts, but not like math, right? Not like math. Hopefully we'll see all green in the next year or 2. That's the goal. The last pillar is finance. This is Matt's favorite subject. But here are some things that we've been able to do in the past years, 2 years that I've been here. One is, when I first got here, we were really, I want to say, fat, I guess, on savings from our ESSER money. We got $5.2 million in 3 years from ESSER money. And we did a smart thing, or the people before I got here did a smart thing. They put it in the bank. So right now our surplus is somewhere around $7 million. And the board said, you know what, we never wanted to get below 25%. And since I've been here, it's never been below 25%. And I still believe it's hovering around 30%. But we got to keep an eye on that, right? We got to make sure enrollment keeps, let's get enrollment going back the other way. And let's keep those expenses down and make sure that our teachers are deployed efficiently and effectively. And I think that 25% surplus is a very obtainable goal for the next few years. Also, one of the things that we did when I first got here that we weren't doing before is now that $7 million is invested and earning interest. Somewhere approximately $50,000 a month we're earning interest on our savings, which we weren't before. But Matt challenged me. I remember when I first got here, Matt said, Spencer, if you do one damn thing, get that money invested. And I said, I can do that, Matt. And $50,000 a year, that's not chunk change. It's money. Yeah, that's a lot of money over a course of a year. Yeah. We also hired Crystal Pylon, is that right? She's doing a wonderful job for us. She's, I just wanted to mention, she's been added to our business manager team. She works with Laura. She works with the curriculum director. She works with Marlene. She's been a wonderful addition. And having the right people in your department, in your area, is huge. And we are really fortunate. Again, good people is really making a difference here in Sheboygan. And don't forget, just last November, we passed a bond for $22.5 million. Last November. We're putting in a new track this fall, a new tennis court, and we're going to begin work on the elementary building in the spring of '26, right, Steve?
That's correct.
Anything else we got going on?
Inverness is going to have new bathrooms and new controls to their renovation.
Yes. And in the past 2 years, that's wrong. I think it was 8 or 9 contracts. Marlene's not here. Marlene and I have negotiated, I think it's either 8 or 9, it's not 11, 2 of them have been since combined. But we have successfully negotiated 9 contracts in the past 2 years. The other thing I'd like to add to that is that every one of those contracts that we've negotiated, historically in Sheboygan, when they negotiated a contract, first of all, I can't believe we have 9 or 10 contracts, but when we do negotiate 9 or 10 contracts, they were historically done for 1 year or 2 years. I'm happy to state that every contract that we did renewed in the last 2 years were 3-year contracts, which is great. It means we can take a year off and don't have to look at each other for a year, right? We can say, oh, you know, I'll get back and start negotiating with you in a year. So it's nice to have that little bit of a break. Also, we talked about enrollment. I don't want to have to beat that up too much, but we need to keep an eye on the prize. And there's a couple different ways that we can grow. I think the diamond in the rough that I talked with Chris quite a bit about is online learning. We already mentioned Ben has 0 class space left. The high school is getting close to full. We're expecting more pre-K students. If we're really looking to add significant amount of students, there's a lot of homeschool students in our area and also students who are using other online platforms besides ours. And if we could bring 25 or 50 of those to our online school, that would be a significant increase in revenue. We had a group come in and present a proposal to the curriculum committee and the finance committee this last month, and we're contemplating obtaining their services to try to expand our online learning platform. Here's another thing this is not why we do these things, but I just want you to think in the mindset of a business manager. We're adding pre-K, we never had that before, that's 32 students this year, 62 students the next year. And we're adding EMC, we're into our 2nd year of EMC. We have 25 students in juniors approximately, 25 students seniors. Our first group will be 5th year next year. So if we jump ahead 1 more year, we're going to have 62 pre-K students that we've never had before, and we're going to have 25 5th year students that we never had before. That's almost 90 students. And somebody's got to pay the bills, right? A lot of that money that's going to be coming in, that additional money, will go to pay for those pre-K teachers, pre-K aides, and pay for that community college tuition. But we're going to bring, those students will bring back to the district to help pay for some of these services, these new services that we're providing, almost $900,000. The number, if you guys want to jot this down, last year we ended, our enrollment was 1,458 students. 1,000, we want to go up from that number. As a matter of fact, if you take a look, this was February's count day information. And on the count day in 2024, just to give you an example, 2 years ago at the end of the year, we ended the year with 1,494. Last year, a few months ago, we ended with 1,458. That's 36 students less. That's been happening every year for 15 years. It's unsustainable. So we need to change the trajectory and start change that. And it's, even if it's only 5 or 10, we gotta stop the bleeding and bring more students in. Here's something I also like to do. I like to compare year to year. And there's a couple anomalies in there if you take a look. And I'll do this again in the fall. When I took a look at the end of my first year, 2024, for example, if you look at kindergarten, we ended the year with 129 students. The weird part is the start of 2024, just a few months later, we only had 112 students. That's a decrease in 17 students. The question is why? I don't know. But now with pre-K, we're hoping that if we get more kids into pre-K, they're going to opt to stay and be here through kindergarten through 12th grade. Because if you remember in my previous slide, what's the optimum number? 125. And when that group came in 24, 25, that 90, that's one of the smallest kindergartens that we have, right? And Dan, is it still around 90 now that they're going, yeah, hasn't, okay. So right now we're at 82 incoming kindergartens. We'd like to get that up to 100 because that kindergarten, hopefully those kids will come in at kindergarten, stay here every year all the way through graduation. The other anomaly, if you take a look between 8th grade and 9th grade, in 8th grade we ended the year 102 students and then started the next year with 121. So we had 19 more students come into our school district as freshmen. And I assume that there's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of kids from local areas want to have their high school experience in our school, so they move here, they transfer here, school of choice here. Also, we have a lot of our feeder programs are K through 7 or K through 8, so they have to find a place to go to. So that was kind of an unusual anomaly there, that we had an increase of 19 students from one year to the next. And then finally, we've already talked about some of the things that we're doing this summer. Tennis courts, track, elementary building, using bond funds. There's the bond schedule. And we're going to continue to work on increasing enrollment. We believe by adding programs, when people, what a beautiful area to live, right? And there are 10 school districts in our COP ESD. Gaylord's the biggest, we're the second biggest, then after us are teeny tiny schools. So if you're moving to Michigan, northern Michigan, and you're looking for a good school, and you have children, Sheboygan's the place to be. And compared to Gaylord, Gaylord has 6 CTE programs, and we have 9. We have 9 CTE programs, we have more than Gaylord. So, to me, Sheboygan is a destination district. I know that's a buzzword, destination district, but if you're looking to move up north, and you're looking for a school with a lot of opportunities, Sheboygan is the place to be. Just real quickly, I was interviewed by a weird guy on Friday. Not sure who he from Bridge. Nice guy, a little strange. He was asking me some strange questions, and I didn't really know how to respond. But he's from Bridge, Michigan, which apparently they do some positive stories about stuff going on in northern Michigan. And he asked me a question that I wanted to share with you guys in closing, and that is, one of the things that we have here in Sheboygan, which is an anomaly, is we have an unusually large amount of poverty. Our poverty level is over 80%. But our test scores that I just showed you are above the state level, right? We're at or above almost every grade level in math and English language arts. And the question that he posed to me is, do you know that most schools in central and southern Michigan, their scores are the opposite of yours? They can't meet state standards. They are below the state threshold. How do you do it? How does Sheboygan do it? You have the same amount of poverty as this school district over here, but this school district can't get those results. And to me, I told him the simple answer to me, from my perspective, is it's about the people. We have a great group of administrators, and we have a great group of teachers. I know Deanna the other day was talking really highly of the teachers during kindergarten camp. They really knocked it out of the park. And if you talk to any of our building administrators, they'll tell you their teachers are wonderful, and they're the ones that make the difference. And that's why we can get the results that we can get for math and also for reading. So I hope I didn't go over my 10 minutes, but are there any questions? Was it Can I go over 10 minutes?
Just a little bit.
All right, sorry, thank you. I'm done. I'll stop talking now.
Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is the curriculum committee update. Fortunately, this will go quickly because Spencer covered most of it. So the first thing we did was we had a presentation by Molly, from Molly and Becca, and Spencer pretty much went over everything. One thing I just really want to highlight is she said something there that made me think, wow, we are doing it right. She said that our district is the first in the country, in the county, to implement a K-12 intentional teaching-based curriculum on standards and student needs. So we are like setting a pace up here in northern Michigan, which is very, can't think of the right word, exciting. Thank you, Ben. Exciting for our district to be doing that. Spencer pretty much went over everything else. So on the next
I took
thing,
care of it for you.
that's
Julie.
right, thank you. And the next thing we talked about was our meeting with the online learning proposal, which Spencer also talked about, which would bring more revenue into our district by reaching students not even necessarily right in Sheboygan, but outlying districts, or maybe even districts that are lower down. He talked to us about a program where they increased their students by, what was it, a couple thousand?
Berrien Springs, they're the innovators of online school. They have 7,000 students online now. They bring in $7 million $70 million in additional revenue to their school district.
And they are a school district our size. So by doing that, putting out satellite programs in other areas, not necessarily taking our students into online, that is not the purpose of it, is to take our students that are not online, but to hit the market. They actually came up here and spoke to Spencer about possibly doing that and trying to take some of our students. So if we don't do that soon, somebody else will come get them. So the next thing on there was the family compact we talked about. And then it's part of the updated strategic plan. It's distributed to offices, parent-teacher conferences, sporting events to parents. We've done that for years and years. We have a little updated one for this year. Comprehensive needs assessments, which was our data collecting that Spencer also showed up there. One thing I wanted to shout out when you were doing that, but I didn't, was it looked like 10th and 11th grade did very poorly, but that was because they don't take the test, right, Marty? They don't. Yeah, so they all don't do that. So it was not like real results. But everybody else did amazing. And they probably did too, we just don't know because on that part, on that data sheet. The next thing we talked about was the student handbook update. The work is continuing on that, and hopefully they'll have a final copy for us to look at soon. We had summer school report by Ben Schlide. The summer camp was very successful. The students enjoyed both the learning opportunities and the social interaction. We talked about the personal finance course that we had at the high school. They are purchasing a new resource for their curriculum. And we talked about staffing updates that Ben has increased his classroom so much that we need to hire a couple teachers. And that was the end of the meeting. Any questions? Okay.
Can I ask about, in our last board meeting, we approved a $126K expenditure for the CAS ELA curriculum, and there was a concern by ordering it so late whether it'd be here in time. Do we know if they arrived?
I think I see thumbs up over there by the building principals. I think Jamie made sure that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The one issue is we didn't bank on so many, like the influx of students, so we're gonna have to order a few more books to accommodate 125 plus per grade level, which is a good problem to have, it's just a few, but they're here.
I just The concern is whether we'd have it for the start of the year.
I think you guys are gonna get it. That was one of the things that Jamie said. If we could get it approved at the last board meeting, we had already been communicating with the company that we would get the resource.
Yes, Jamie had already talked to the company prior to the board meeting and said, if it's approved, I'm gonna get this out to you, I'm gonna fax it to you in the morning, and she got that taken care of right away, so that they are here. Any other questions? Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is the new hires, and we have,
Ben's gonna say it.
yeah, Ben's gonna talk about the hires of his building.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Well, before I do that, I want to recognize real quick, just to second what Spencer said, the group of teachers we have in our district, they're just amazing. You look at the process that we went through to move classrooms. I just want to recognize them because we still have teachers now with the increased enrollment, moving people around. We have people that are moving right now, so it's been a lot. And just to say, you know, we're very fortunate to have the teachers we have. And so with that being said, this summer we've hired 4 new teachers, or well, hopefully 4 new
2
teachers
more.
by the end of this meeting. And we've added to this team that I think is already a great team. And so we have 2 people that we're going to put up today that I think fit in very well with us. That they're hardworking, dedicated. The first person that I'll introduce you to is Marley Smith. She's right over there. She actually is a born and
Marley,
raised in
please
Sheboygan.
stand, I can't see you. Where are you at? Oh, there she is.
She's from Sheboygan, born and raised here, and went to school here. She has been teaching the last 5 years in Portland Public Schools, I believe, at the middle school. So she's coming to us with 5 years of experience there, and where she's going to be in our 6th grade. And then we have Charlotte Ashley, who is right next to her. She was one of our LRE aides, and so she finished her education while doing that, and so she'll be getting her first teaching job. We're looking at putting her in 4th grade, and again, both educators we're excited to have as part of our team. Forward thinking, great with building relationships. We're excited to add up to the team that we already have. So.
And I would just like to mention, Ben recommends the teachers to me, and then Marlene and I meet with them and have a short interview. And the one thing that both of these new teachers, it was very clear, Marley's coming home, right?
Yep.
And then Charlotte made it very clear that she only wants to work in Sheboygan. So talk about people invested in the community. I think we, again, nice job, Ben, hit 2 out of the ballpark today.
And also, Spencer talked a little bit about Jessica Yearling. She will be our new director of curriculum and instructional support, and she will be coming around September 8th, you said?
Yeah, she's currently, because it's so late in the school year, she was actually beginning work. The Olivet School District where she's currently employed started school already. They have students. So she put in her 2 weeks notice. She let them know a couple weeks ago that she was in the hunt here and interviewing and going through the process. But she still did want to give them, which I support 100%. She's put in her 2 weeks notice, and she'll be here to start full-time on September 8th.
And also, we have Sean McNeil as the varsity girls golf coach. Do you want to say anything about that? Marty?
Absolutely. I mean, everybody knows that he's a legend to the hometown here. He's a great guy. With the retirement and whatnot, he had to put his resignation in just to follow the state guidelines for that. And he then re-put in when the posting goes back to come back, so he'll be returning as a new hire, if that makes sense. Kind of an oxymoron, but he's returning as a new hire for our girls golf program.
That's great. It's great to have him back in the
He's amazing.
building too. Yes, I agree. Okay, so any questions about any of the new hires that we're looking at? Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the hiring of Sean McNeil as varsity girls golf coach, Marley Smith, elementary teacher, 6th grade, right? 6th grade, Charlotte Ashley, elementary teacher, 4th grade, and Jessica Yearling as director of curriculum and instructional support for the 2025-26 school year.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Travis, support by Matt. Any Further questions or discussion? Chris?
Luke Kukowski,
Yep.
Richard Pilon,
Yes.
Tim Tarjak,
Yes.
Deborah Buhner,
Yes.
Matt Winarchuk,
Yes.
Travis Neville,
Yes.
Julie Lohila.
Yes. I missed a donation, oh, you ready? All right, motion carries. Next thing.
Congratulations. Yep.
Yes,
Welcome.
congratulations. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is approval of resignation. We have two we have two resignations. Jamie McClintock, Director of Instructional Support, and Mallory Schley as the school social worker. Any questions about that? Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the resignation of Jamie McClintock as Director of Instructional Support and Mallory Schley as school social worker.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Deb,
Support.
support by Travis. Questions, discussion? Chris?
Luke Kukowski,
Yep.
Richard Pilon,
Yes.
Tim Tarjak,
Yes.
Deborah Buhner,
Yes.
Matt Winarchuk,
Yes.
Travis Neville,
Yes.
and Julie Lohila.
Yes. Okay, moving on to Finance and Building and Grounds Committee update by Ms. Lord.
Okay, I'll try to go over the stuff Spencer didn't talk about. So we just had Steve's purchasing a new used Caterpillar forklift. All the other ones that you got 40 years old, the one you have now, or 45.
It's 46 years old.
So, time for a new one. Steve, they all load a ton of stuff there at the bus garage, so they need something reliable. We also talked about a potential CTE partnership opportunity out in the bus barn for students who are in the auto program, if they would be interested in working with Steve's mechanics on the bus, whether that be during school or after school hours for, I think maybe like there's about an hour and a half window potentially. Steve also said that they are a CDL training facility, so students interested could potentially obtain a CDL certification as well. I think they need to talk with our CT program and principals and see if it's something that's feasible or not, but it was just something that was discussed. I think there might be some interest from a few of the kids in possibly doing that if it's permissible and possible to do. So there'll probably be more, hopefully be more updates on that in the future. Steve went over current projects and some future projects. The covered walkway is still being in progress. The original architect quit, so we're having to review the project and still get a drawing before we can get that going. Ben's just gonna stand out there with umbrellas until,
Got a couple extra.
I mean, $5,000 an umbrella will get you a lot of umbrellas. Hopefully that'll get done somewhat in the near future. Fencing, we're gonna be putting new fencing around the CTE area where the garage door is, just kind of secure that a little bit better. Obviously, the new tennis courts, that'll be ripped out and new also, and then back by the intermediate school playground there, I think to kind of fence it off there by the basketball courts, make it a little more secure back there for the kids. They fixed the access to the drift-in. We have the tennis court bid that's going to be on tonight's agenda. Basically, we're reducing the footprint there, going down to 3 courts. There'll be 1 tennis court that also is to be a tennis court, pickleball court combo, and then the other 2 kind of lanes will just be pickleball courts. I think there'll be 4 in each spot, so there'll be a total of 12 pickleball courts, and then you'd be able to play tennis on one of them. Steve's getting some portable nets to be able to reconfigure those as we need. Where this will be similar, like the track project, where you're just going to put down the asphalt surface here in the fall, and then when we do the track surface, the rubberized part, we are going to bid those both at the same time to do the track and the tennis court, because the Reeve Riley was essentially just get a contract somebody, then just charge us on top of it, so, Steve's just gonna take care of getting that, put in this summer, will be when it's warm. Obviously, we talked about the East Elementary stuff. Steve's just gonna be able to do some purchasing of the HVAC units directly to save us a few dollars. And looking at any other of those types of things as the project goes on, where we can try to save a few dollars potentially by just buying things directly ourselves. Steve did replace some sidewalk repair around the district as needed, and he's got to do some work in the bus garage, and some of the supporting beams there, I think by his garage door, are starting to rust out pretty bad, so he's gonna get that fixed up. And then we just had a brief update from Marlene about the ongoing Marlin Lowry lawsuits that seem to come every year. So as usual, they get thrown out in the court, but he continues to file them. He's probably cost the district about $30,000 over the lifetime of him doing this. So, but you know Marlin, can you just ask him to stop? Because it's just a waste of everybody's time and money. We talked about the online school stuff already. I think everybody at the finance committee was also in support of doing it. Laura gave us a brief budget update. She's waiting to get more information from the completion of the audit before she provides some kind of final year-end numbers from last year. We talked about enrollment. We talked about the CTE millage that's coming in November that'll be voted on by everybody around here. It would generate about $4 million regionally. We would expect to get about $1 million of that. That would help fund our CTE programs, and hopefully be able to do some more stuff with that, but obviously that would have to be voted on. Marlene and Laura have implemented the new payroll and accounting system. They said it's working good. They kind of, I think, have worked through their issues, hopefully. We talked about the staffing updates that we just voted on. Safety and security, we have that coming up with the MOU. We'll discuss that later. Athletics, I think everybody's seen the new rates to get in games, so we lowered them for kids and families to get in games, with hopefully getting more kids. And then we also talked about increasing the bus driver rate, 50 cents an hour, substitute bus driver rate. That's on the agenda tonight. And then we talked about sports officials' payments. The current manner in which we are doing that needs to be changed, since the way we're doing it isn't really the right way to do it. So we're hopefully ready to hear an update on how that's going to get changed ASAP. So that's pretty much it.
Any questions to that? Next thing on our agenda is the payment of bills. I need a motion to acknowledge the payment of the regular and bond invoices in an amount of $977,517.98.
Rich?
Support?
I'll support.
Support by Luke. Any questions about information provided in our packet or the bills?
Luke Cuskey,
Yep.
Richard Pilon,
Yes.
Tim Tarja,
Yes.
Deborah Buhner,
Yes.
Matt Menarche,
Yes.
Travis Neville,
Yes.
and Julie Rohiba.
Yes. Okay, the next thing on our agenda is the substitute bus driver new wage that Matt just reported on. I need a motion to increase the substitute bus driver wage from $17.50 to $18 with a minimum of 2.5 hours.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion made by Deb, support by Travis. Questions, discussion?
Is there anything you want to add on that, Steve? Or?
No, so currently, it's a 2.5 hour minimum. So that they get $43.75 pretty much a run, so it'll increase to $45 a run. $45. And then they have to take a sports trip or something like that, it would be a flat $18 an hour.
Chris?
Lou Kukowski.
Yep.
Richard Pilon.
Yes.
Tim Tarja.
Yes.
Deborah Buhner.
Yes.
Matt Lenarchuk.
Yes.
Travis Neville.
Yes.
Julie Lohila.
Yes. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is approval of the tennis court bid, which Spencer and I have spoken about. I do want to say it did come in $50,000 less than when this came across us last time. It's $253,760, and so I think it was what,
$314.
$314. They are doing the surfacing later, that's not included in this. So,
But they are going to paint the lines on it so the kids like would be able to use it.
Oh.
We just won't have like the rubber, kind of that final surface on it
Okay.
until next summer, but the kids will be able to use
so
it
it'll be good
in the
to go.
spring. Yes.
Okay. Any questions about that?
Am I allowed to say anything?
I'm sorry, we do not take,
What, I do have a question. What kids would be utilizing this tennis court?
PE classes.
For the middle school or the high school, both?
Yeah, they use it quite a bit, and I know Ben Schley, his building, Adam Burry, the PE teacher over there, would use that facility quite often, and then the high school as well. And if you guys aren't aware, it was, we've reduced the footprint so that it will come in about what we budgeted. And the surfacing, you ideally, and correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but once you lay the asphalt down, you need to let it cure for a while before you put the surfacing on top of it. And we were getting price gouged on the surfacing because the company that we were contracting through were also throwing their percent in as well. So we really think this will be great for our PE classes, but also it will be available at night, on the weekends, and in the summer for community members as well. We are going to put it'll be tennis courts / pickleball courts, so they can be used for either or. And as you guys know, pickleball is huge right now and growing at a very rapid pace. But during the school day, it will be designated for student use only on school days. Steve, did I forget anything on that?
I know pretty much,
I covered it?
yeah, there's no way we'd be able to get the surface this fall anyway, just because of the weather conditions, get certain temperature. It'll be getting pretty cold quick, you know.
And this is also being paid out of bond money,
That's
right?
correct,
This
yeah.
was part of our
that's part of the-
November bond, and when we agreed that when we explained this to the community, that this portion of money would go towards this project. So it can't be spent on anything other than tennis courts, correct?
Correct.
And the amount is what our PE teachers asked for too. I asked Mr. Burry and Mr. Schultz, and that they said that amount of course would be ideal for what they want to do.
Okay.
I've just been here and been through the school system. I've never used those courts in my life, and I've never seen anybody use them in my life. So it just seems tough for me to swallow that cost, but if that's part of the bond money, I certainly feel better about that.
Yes.
You may have, there's a paper right out there.
I do have one.
Okay.
I just didn't hear the name of the company that's doing it.
Reeve Riley.
Rita Riley.
Reeve Riley.
And you got a lot of bids, different ones? Or just one?
You will need to speak during public
Okay,
comment.
well, forget
I'm
it.
sorry.
I didn't know I was talking about that anyway.
If we don't follow the policy, then it gets,
Okay.
like a snowball. Okay, all right, so, any other questions?
No, but I will say, I was telling Travis earlier, I was driving out Robinson Road, past Bellston, going towards Harbor Springs the other day. I think it's like 10 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And you had that park on the left-hand side after you cross 131 there.
Right by their baseball field.
Yeah, by the, there is all,
There are
they have
people there all
two
the time.
pickleball courts and people are out there using it.
That's,
Well,
Not
and I
kids,
think-
but
I think we had
Shot
tennis
Pellster.
courts that were in very disarray, they're in bad shape. But we didn't have pickleball, and that's the thing right now.
Murray has like all the, he just doesn't have a place to play pickleball. He's got all the stuff to do it.
Get that barn full of stuff.
Yeah, he just needs, I think he might have him kind of just do it on, maybe put some tape or something out there, but like he's got it all.
I think they played pickleball last year.
Yeah, I know he said he's got the stuff to do it, he wants to do it because the kids,
It's fun.
it's something more that the kids can't play like tennis is hard, right? If you don't get tennis lessons, it's pretty hard to get.
Yeah, we don't have a tennis team.
It's hard to play tennis, pickleball is easy to play, I mean, you got 80-year-old people can do it, I'm sure.
I think they played quite a bit at that Program Park out when they redid that area.
So it's something more than he's ready for.
And maybe it was nice. They have like a disc golf out there too.
Or you can watch those kids play tennis, they just try to whack it over the fence, that's all they do, but like, they can actually kind of do this.
Yeah, the fence is tetanus hazard right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so any other discussion? Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the tennis courts renovation bid from Retha Riley in the amount of $253,760.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion made by Travis, support by Matt. Questions, discussion? Chris?
Luke Kukuski,
Yep.
Richard Pila,
Yes.
Tim Tarja,
Yes.
Deborah Buhner,
Yes.
Matt Malarchuk,
Yes.
Travis Neville,
Yes.
and Julie Lohila.
Yes. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is board policy update by Deborah Buhner.
Oh, you guys are gonna be so excited. Policy is so exciting. Yeah, anyways. We hit the 4,000s, which in your first, does everybody have a summary I'm talking through? 4102 basically dealt with employees' rights. And the first bulk of those items that I have listed for you were just pretty much verifying that we had the appropriate language in the appropriate places. If you drop down to the last two bullets, those were actually new things that we had to insert. Michigan passed that Earned Sick Time Act for part-time employees, so we had to implement some of those choices. And Marlene said it was best not to change the period, our 12-month period for when employees can earn it. So we basically took her recommendations on adding our ESTA information. And we had to clarify that any sick time earned could be taken in half-day increments. In the 4200 section, under employee conduct and ethics, the first several bulletins were, again, just identification of who does what in the district. If you jump to 4213, this was a new item that we had to add in, and we made the choice of if we had employees on staff that would be considered as conflict of interest positions, meaning a spouse would be his spouse's supervisor, that we would simply have the board notified of that situation. 41G, we chose not to add a policy that would allow folks to record image of students, parents, co-workers, non-public meetings, given that there was an educational purpose. Our basic stance is if we don't have to add it, we don't plan to add it unless it deals basically with something that we're currently accustomed to doing in the district already. On the back side, another one that we did have to do some choosing on. Yeah, if we were in a reduction of staff scenario, when a reduction or recall decision involves multiple teachers that had the same effectiveness score, seniority would be the determining factor on who would be recalled first. So we had to identify how that would operate in the event we ever have to go into a recall mode or a staff reduction. And everything else up there, we pretty much already had, and didn't have to make any changes. In the 5,000s, under students, curriculum, and academic matters, we did have to address the third bullet down. Basically, the lawyers gave us, you have to choose whether or not students are allowed cell phones or they are not allowed. And then the policy has to be built from there. So as you saw earlier tonight, we have chosen, Spencer took it to the building principals. For now, we have chosen to let them remain, that they can have them, but not during academic times and under the policy that was shown to you earlier. We also had to address 5301D on truancy. We had to choose whether or not we wanted to add anything to a list that was provided as an excused absence, and we chose not to add anything at this time. And then we needed to identify what our policy is in 5301E, as how we deal with truancy. And currently at 10 days of unexcused absences, a parent letter is sent. 15 days, the school reaches out to truancy. 20 days, school petitions the court. And through our discussions, one of the common problems that keeps coming up, and I see that you guys have already addressed it, is this idea of a parent will call in and say, well, it's my choice, they're not coming today, and they want that to be excused. So it's not an excused absence. So, and in some buildings apparently it was an excused absence, in other buildings it was not. So we are trying to crack down on that a little bit, and it followed through with even policy suggested by the lawyers. We do have one more small batch to do of policies, so we'll try to tackle that at next month's meeting. And I have a couple that we referred out to other committees previously, but I didn't put that list together, but I'll make sure that they're included in our last batch of policy for next month's approval. That's it.
Okay, so we have update, but next time, if we finish through, we will go through the approval of this batch.
Want to finish them all up?
Both of them. Okay.
That'll work.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so the next thing is approval of MASB delegates. Spencer sent out email about the MASB delegates that were needed. Deborah and I contacted Spencer and said that we would like to go. It is at, in Traverse City, and the actual delegate conference doesn't, or the delegate portion of it does not cost the district anything, but there is a conference that's going on with it that we probably would like to take advantage of a couple of the classes and things that are in that. Any questions about that? Would anybody else like to go to that conference to be an alternative if something were to happen and one of us could not go, because we can send 2 people. Let's do one. Yeah, what? It's in Traverse City on October 23rd. Questions? Discussion? Okay, so I need a motion to approve Julie Lohila and Deborah Bruner as Sheboygan Area Schools MASB delegates for 2025-2026 school year. I believe since my name is in this, I should abstain from this. So it's still, there'll still be enough people left to pass it or not.
We hope.
Right.
So,
Right.
okay, so Chris?
We need a motion.
Oh, yes, we need a motion. Sorry about that. We need a motion to approve Julie Lohila and Deborah Buhner as Sheboygan Area Schools MASB delegates for the 2025-2026 school year.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion made by Rich, support by Travis. Now, Chris.
Luke Kukowski.
Yep.
Richard Pilon.
Yes.
Tim Tarja.
Yes.
Deborah Buhner.
I'll abstain.
Okay. Matt Malarchuk.
Yes.
Travis Neville.
Yes.
And Julie abstained.
Abstain.
Good pass, nice work. Sorry.
All right. The next thing on the agenda is the athletic committee update by Travis Nuttall.
All right. Okay, first we decided that we had such success by having varsity coaches at a meeting a few months ago, that we'd like to do that every month. Invite all varsity coaches to show up at meetings. That's been helpful. We get a lot of good input from those people. We changed our athletic entrance fee policies moving forward into the school year. Students will now be $2. That's for home and away students. Adults, same thing, $5 home and away, $10 for a family. And student season passes have been reduced from $70 to $40. And senior passes have been eliminated because seniors 60 plus and veterans are admitted free. And that's again home and away, which is exciting. Fitness center utilization, we have that great facility out there we want to use as much as we can. We're still looking at ways that we can maybe get a female-only FAP class. Looking at trying to get maybe a female instructor for that. That's where we just need more numbers to make that happen. Trying to get a class in that fitness center every hour if we can, even if it means we're bringing in a class from the middle school, which I think would be really cool. We haven't really looked at the dynamics of that yet, but 0 hour right now, they're running an FAP class and it's over 40. So our thought is if we can limit that, then those kids can get into other sections during the day, which would maybe warrant another instructor, different things that would help us out. Yeah, we're looking at 1 hour for the middle school. We have changed our academic standards significantly. Grade checks in the fall usually weren't run until week 6. We're now going to start running them week 4, figuring that's enough time for teachers to have some grades in. And then we're going to change our overall academic eligibility requirement to 5 of 6 classes. Students at all times must be passing 5 of 6. And when they are failing something, we'll give them a sort of 3-week rolling chance to get it up. The idea being, we're not trying to get kids off of teams. We're trying to get them help and support. So week 1, we'll give them the warning to improve the grade. Week 2, there's a probation period. If they're still ineligible in that class on week 3, they can still attend practice. That's something we want to make sure they're doing, but they're not eligible to compete in contests at that point. So Jason, Marty, and Spencer, we're going to finalize that before the parent meeting. Did you guys do that?
Yeah, it's, the athletic code of conduct has been updated, should be part of your packet, and, for approval tonight, correct.
We're still way up in the air with this Hall of Fame thing, this playboard. We've got a lot of ideas, but it's kind of backburnered right now. We're still talking about see what we can figure out. CPR and first aid and AED certification. Right now, only head coaches are required to do that. We're looking at ways to, and MHSAA has been kind of toying with trying to make us have every coach be able to do it. And our thought is, hey, why not? So if we can get us a program in place, I guess the new teachers are still required to do that? Is that true? So if we can somehow expand that, maybe again, just looking at ideas moving forward, we get every coach to do it.
Did that,
How does that not help
I'm
us?
sorry, did that law just change? I thought it did, didn't it? I think we'll need to look, I think there might be some legal precedents that just happened like last week that we'll need to look into.
Since the meeting.
But I do know that Deanna's already got CPR set up for new teachers, right?
Yes.
And who else was it, or is that just new teachers?
New teachers, also my preschool teachers have to stay certified as well.
Right. So, and we want to utilize that and maybe use the same group to do CPR training for the other folks that need to as well?
She can do up to 8 people in training at one time.
Okay.
This just in.
Well, yeah, she talked about last week's safety meeting that all coaches are required.
So MHSA did pass that.
Yep.
So every single coach, which is great. Sounds like we're starting to work on routes to get that.
And now Jason Friday has a lot of work to do. Marty,
He does.
do you hear that?
We're looking at middle school C teams. The way that works would be this. Imagine you got 2 teams of 12, maybe 7th and 8th grade, we'll say this for example. And the 7th grade team plays, and maybe only 8 kids are on the floor through the game. And then the 8th grade team, same thing. Now you got 4 kids that didn't play in one game, 4 kids didn't play in the other. We could combine those kids who didn't play and have a 3rd game, a C game. Lots of other schools in our area are doing that. We're looking at ways to do it. Again, just maximizing playing time, which is always a great thing for athletes and parents. see if we can get that done. It really affects basketball and volleyball in particular, it sounds like. Let's see, so conference banners, that's not complete, which is crazy, because I feel like my first ever athletic committee meeting, we approved that, so can't believe that's not done. We did change a bunch of athletic code of conduct stuff, mostly minor tweaks, but different language about exempt from expectations, JV guaranteed playing time, things like that. They're all pretty minor. Facility and equipment updates, we covered a lot of that. Tennis courts, we covered that. Track, everybody knows what's going on there. Baseball fields need sand, diamond dust. And the whole time I'm thinking, man, that sounds really expensive. You know, diamonds are expensive, but they meant the baseball diamond. And it's going to get dusted with sand. So it took me a while to put that together. It's a good thing you're not paying me.
Comedy night. We're here every Tuesday.
Yeah. We did get a second quote on the wrestling match, which is something we very much needed. We gave Jason the approval to pay for the least expensive of the two. So I texted him a minute ago to see if he had ordered them yet. Still don't know. Spring Sports Soccer can still host games until the construction begins on Gordon Field, but it sounds like we're really close to having the language done on getting that contract right to have the field torn up and the track redone. So we'll see how long that lasts. Additional topics, it's a great idea having the band at the 4th of July parade, but number one, it's summertime, and second, it's 4th of July weekend, so getting them together might be difficult, but we were looking at seeing if we can do that. It'd be cool if we could. Why not? We should have more of a presence in that. JV football, we were worried about a very low roster number. We've since bounced that up with a couple juniors who've agreed to play down and a couple kids who've joined us. So now we're at 16, which is much more manageable. It's going to help us a lot.
That was for what, the JV?
JV football.
Yeah, and they played really well at the scrimmage the other day.
They were dominant, I would tell you. We are going to co-op with Sault Ste. Marie. We have one athlete, Mason Johnson, a great kid who plays football for me, who wants to play lacrosse in the spring. And the Sioux has a program, and they've offered to take him. Basically, we'll co-op with them, and that'll be pretty cool. Emily Mahoney is going to cover varsity football, basketball, wrestling, soccer, and JV home events as usual. She's doing a great job for us. Hockey, we've had a request from one of the hockey parents for us to help out with official fees. Finance committee is going to take a look at that. Did you guys look at that? Yeah.
No, she threw it in the next meeting.
Okay. Nice lady. Her son plays for me too. Middle school cross country looks like we're still leaning on coaches. Did you get an answer on that?
I believe they interviewed somebody. You know, if not, I'll do it. We were just concerned about the bus garage will only be manned by Tammy from certain times. And that's something I think next year I'm going to look into getting somebody in there that can, you know, be supportive and either, you know, be able to have some leadership when I'm not there. But if you guys can't fill it, I'll make it work. You know. But I believe they interviewed Brady. Right? Okay.
It'd be great to have, if you guys don't know, Steve's a competitive endurance athlete. To have that kind of mentorship for the kids would be fantastic. So if we can make that work, that would be great. And that was it. That's athletics. Oh, was it on the list? Did I skip it?
Wasn't on the list.
Was it on the list?
I thought that was pretty good news.
That we got the golf simulator?
Or we got approval that they're gonna give us.
They didn't order
The
that yet?
sports boosters, I think, ordered it, but it's not been put in a room or anything.
Okay, so we're still figuring out where that's gonna be.
Yep.
Marty's trying to put it in his house, but we're trying to.
And a perfect spot to store them.
Spencer wanted it in his house or his garage, but we said no. So
We're out here in
it'll be
Inverness.
next to his office in the building here.
And that's paid for by the schools.
The booster, yeah,
Yeah.
boosters
That's
that
great,
approved.
that's
So
great.
I think that's great for our golf teams.
Yeah.
Huge.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, any questions for Travis?
No.
Athletics, any questions for
Okay,
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
all right. So the next thing on our agenda is the approval of the 2025-26 Athletic Code of Conduct. That's in our packet. And I believe, Spencer, that this came from Truen, correct?
The athletic code of conduct came from Jason and Marty and a group of folks who created it.
Oh,
The student
okay.
handbook is from
It's from
Truman,
Truman,
yeah,
okay.
which is not quite finished yet.
So they
We're
did,
hoping that that'll be available at next board meeting.
well, I'm telling you what, if you do not have a template to do this, this is like a lot of work and awesome. You hit every single thing in here you possibly could. It's very impressive. Has everyone had a chance to look through that? Okay, any questions about it? Okay, so I need a motion to approve the 2025-2026 Athletic Code of Conduct.
I'll make it.
I'll support.
Motion made by
Luke.
Luke, support by Travis. Any questions? Chris?
Luke Kukuski.
Yep.
Richard Pilon.
Yes.
Tim Tarja.
Yes.
Deborah Buhner.
Yes.
Matt Malarchuk.
Yes.
Travis Neville.
Yes.
Julie Lohia.
Yes. Okay, the next thing on our agenda is a safety update by Tim Tarja.
The last safety committee meeting was held at East Elementary last Thursday, the 21st. Deanna hosted that and took us on a tour of the building and expressed, well, kind of give us a walk around on updates that are coming with the building and a few concerns. So some concerns are based on the current condition of the school, some conditions are on just things to keep an eye on as we move forward. The issues that she currently has is problems still with the speakers and emergency flashing light system, and also the playground area or the northeast entrance door area could use some sort of fencing considerations. So that might be able to be worked into our fencing budget, but we have to have some additional discussion on that. Also, the air quality alert system is working well, and according to Steve, the ventilation system for the crawl space is
Everything installed and operating.
up and running. High school signs. The team over at the high school, which consists of Marty, Ben, and Ron, implemented, this is one of those deals where you get a big bang for your buck. And what they've done is they've implemented new signs based on feedback from law enforcement and students as far as the readability and the visibility of the signage. So we'll be changing to a black background with white letters. The signs have been ordered, and it looks like it's going to be pretty much a no-brainer and a home run on the signs. What the plan is to implement them at the high school first. Get into the school year a little bit, see how that works out, how they're received, and if they're still good, then we can look at plans to expand it to the other buildings in the district.
I think the signs have been received, haven't they? Have we gotten them yet?
No templates have been.
Oh, the templates are, oh, okay.
Yeah, they used paper to do some tests around the buildings.
Okay.
So had some actual tests. And all of that for probably less than $800. So,
Good.
and thanks to Steve on that. Okay, a fencing update. We're looking at, I think we went over this with building the ground, so I don't think there's any need to go with the fencing again. Board office security gate, we had more discussions about this, and the latest suggestion was to look at putting up an actual wall with an ingress-egress door, because the fencing is not gonna work for fire requirements. Number 6 item is canine searches. The plan is to do 2 canine searches annually. We had a little bit of adjustment to this. The plan to have the searches will be announced, but the date and time and location of the searches will not be publicized. The scope would be lockers and not vehicles. There's a procedure been established for the search, and canines would be trained to detect drugs, bombs, and guns. Reunification process. The current site is the ice arena, but I believe that is the reunification site strictly for the high school, intermediate school. whereas in probably east, whereas Inverness would be, is it a church down here or
Yeah,
something?
it's the Sam Road.
Okay. So, basically, the last drill was 4 years ago, and we concluded that every year there's typically a change to some degree in staffing, and that the reunification and a lot of our procedures should be presented to the new people on board. So that'll probably drive us into more annual review and exposure to that, to those procedures. Well, actually, what's on here is we said every other year, but I think after that is when we had the discussion about that, we have demands every year from staff. Active shooter training, it's currently held every other year, and again, this would fall into the last comment about again trying to expose the new hires to the policy, to the procedure. So we're going to look at doing that probably earlier in the school year. It makes sense to do it at the beginning of the school year, and also alternate annually with the reunification drill. So I guess that was also prior to the discussion about it annually. Weapon detectors would be intended as deterrents. The estimated cost is $90,000 per unit. The high school would require 3 units and staffing to operate it. There's a lot of discussion that has to take place on this before anything happens, so that's TBD. The shades for the classroom doors and windows, those have been ordered and delivered, and Steve said that he's going to be working on getting those installed, but they won't be completely installed till sometime well into the school year. Safety expenditures. We requested a baseline for the budget for the 24-25 school year to try and plan for the budget for 25-26. So we're just getting started on that. And since the safety committee is relatively new as of January, this is just a logical step to follow. Cardiac response teams and AED requirements. Amy Brubaker presented at the committee. I also talked to Amy again today over at Thunder Bay. What it is she's received a kit, which is a duffel bag with CPR, a complete CPR kit that is intended for instructional purposes with the students. And I think something Spencer was alluding to, there is new Michigan legislation, House Bill 5527, which demands a cardiac emergency response plan, and all students from between grades 9 and 12 are to be instructed in CPR. And the entire program is actually financed by grants because it is demanded by the state. But just on a side note here, just as an expansion of Thunder Bay, they've got 5 new, or a total of 5 now, exam rooms versus the previous 3. There's a new nurses stations, and they've essentially doubled their staff. Okay, one other thing that came up, Ben had mentioned in his item 13 here is emergency communications app that we're going to explore. And Ben Wilson is actually on the hook to provide some information at the next safety meeting. Is that right, Ben?
I like that idea.
Both of them reported positive experiences. Student transportation. After 2 weeks of new traffic flow, MDOT study may be requested. Todd Ross has 5 officers plus Ron to assist with traffic until stabilized. And I think, Ron, also, don't we have the PD involved in this also?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So we have quite a bit of coverage for the first, I don't know how many days, or if it might evolve in 2 weeks of school to deal with the new traffic changes, because of the changes in the campuses. SRO expectations. We're trying to define the MOU or job description for our SRO. So what we need to do is we're canvassing the opinions of all the stakeholders and get that condensed down into a final, eventually down to a final MOU or a job description for approval by the board. I'm going to start out this Friday. I'm going to be meeting with Ron, Sheriff Ross, Rich, and Deb, and we're going to get the ball rolling on that, and that's just work in progress, trying to get everybody's input and opinions so we can come up with a final plan that hopefully satisfies everybody. Just looking over my own handwritten notes here to make sure I'm not missing anything. I think that's everything for me. Any questions?
Questions for Tim?
What's that?
Any questions for Tim?
Nope.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is the approval of the Central Dispatch Emergency Situation Camera Access MOU. Everybody has a copy of that.
Question.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They would, the CCE dispatch may access thank you, the school's security cameras in real time under the following emergency conditions: active shooter incidents, bomb threats, immediate threats to life, limb, or safety of students and staff, after hours alarms, suspected criminal activity on the district property. So, and that would be the only time that they would be allowed to use their cameras. So, any questions about that? Or anything else that's on there?
Well, actually, Sheriff and Ron and Safety answered our question. I know Ben and I had a lot of questions. You know, when they get live feed during, say, a shooter incident or whatever, they're not recording. We're the only ones that record. They also cannot go back historically and look at our recordings. So it's only for the central dispatch, and it's really for them, if they're responding, driving from where, who knows where, to the school, they can say, hey, the guy's outside the west wing, or he's out there. You know, they can help them before they get there. It's the best thing. The other thing is they track for not only training purposes, but testing, I think. Once a month, they have to test that they can do it. But they log that in. Who's there, who's doing it, every time.
And
So-
we get that report.
Yep, it's all tracked. So after, you know, our concern, I think, was both someone recording from there. I mean, yeah, they could use their cell phone, whatever, but everything's logged. So, and they can't go backwards, that's the other thing. So I don't have a problem. You know, they answered, and it's only during, it's not like someone could call up and say, hey, you guys, you know, can you take a look at this camera for us? You know, it's
So
gotta
we
be
asked
like a
them to.
911.
We asked them, we come, okay, turn it on.
Yeah, they need to get it from either legal or from us. School administrator said,
Or
hey,
if
we
the
got
911
our
call comes in,
911.
they turn it on.
Yeah.
I know there was some concern about FERPA violations. We contacted our attorneys. They looked at the MOU that the county building provided us, and they said that it looked fine. So our attorneys told us that this looks like they reviewed many agreements like that with other school districts and with their dispatch, local dispatch, not just in our area. And it's very similar to that. It's not, and nothing is unusual.
Cameras in locker rooms, bathrooms. other privacy
I
related.
think they get the full access to whatever.
Do we have?
I don't think we have cameras in the locker room, I hope not.
That's what I'm asking.
Just
Cameras
Mark.
and privacy.
Jordan can pull the report, we don't have to wait for the report to be given out, or you can check it at any point to see the last, actually, if we're on it or if they're on it, anybody that's been on it has an access.
And that's transparent on both sides.
What's that?
It's transparent on both sides. You can see when they're on, they can see when you're on.
No, that's, no,
Just us.
just us.
Jordan system, it's a
Yeah.
school system.
Just us.
Yeah, there was some speculation that they would have access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's not the case.
It's only during emergencies. It's the law.
Any other questions? Okay, so I need a motion to approve the CCE Central Dispatch Emergency Situation Camera Access MOU.
Make a motion.
Support.
Motion made by Rich, supported by Tim. Chris?
Luke Kuski.
Yep.
Richard Phelan.
Yes.
Tim Tarcha.
Yes.
Deborah Buhner.
Yes.
Matt Malarchuk.
Yes.
Travis Neville.
Yes.
Julie Lohila.
So the next thing on our agenda is.
Either yes or no, Julie.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm a yes. I checked myself off. Doesn't that count?
I'll check you off too now.
All right, thank you. I'm moving ahead quickly here today, apparently too fast. Anyway, the next thing on the agenda is the public comment recognition. And I am going to just read our rules. Sheboygan Area Schools Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. We request that each individual participant complete a public participation form to ensure that responses are appropriate and properly focused. Per Sheboygan Area Schools bylaws, number 2504, public participation at board meetings. Before addressing the board, please state your name and address. Each participant statement is limited to 5 minutes. No participant shall speak more than once during the meeting. Public comments of personal nature are prohibited when comments are unrelated to the manner in which the board member or district employee performs that person's duties, and comments cause a substantial disruption to the meeting. So, public comment, anyone?
I have one.
You can step right up, or you
It's
can
just
stay there if you want.
Okay. Christina Morton from Sheboygan. I appreciate that there's gonna be extra help during the first couple of days or weeks of school for parent pickup and students leaving, and it was mentioned there was gonna be a new traffic flow, but I haven't seen anything posted what that traffic flow might be like, so will something be posted ahead of time, so you kinda know what that's gonna look like?
So, Christina, did you fill out a paper by any
No.
chance? Okay, so if you could do that before you leave and hand it to me, and I will get that question to the proper person, which building, our
High school.
high school. So I will get that to Marty, so he can get back with you on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I guess I should say who I am, why I'm here. I'm Nan Dingens, I'm a citizen of Sheboygan. I've lived all over the United States, raised 6 kids, been an ex-school teacher, ex-4th grade school teacher. And I just like education, and I noticed when I went voting that there was only one person up for the school board for the voting. I thought, well, why isn't there any more support? So I thought I would like to go to some of the meetings and see what's going on. And so I mentioned it to a woman I met at the chamber, and she sent me the schedule, and I'm just here. But I'm very impressed with the statistics of the achievement with our low ratio of money made here and the high ratio of achievement in education. That should be publicized. That should go on the radio, the TV, and the news.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And did you fill out a paper by any chance? Did you fill out a paper by any chance, one of these papers?
Oh, well, I didn't think I was going to say anything, so I didn't.
It's hard to-
All right. All right.
Just
Okay.
quickly before we adjourn, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that of all the wonderful additions to our teams, Chris has done a wonderful job. This is her 3rd school board meeting. So I Thank you.
Okay, if there is no other public comment, I need a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Support.
Motion made by Matt, support by Travis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion adjourned at 8:19. Motion adjourned. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.